Little pots of love with Mamacheech. She loves her little plants and she's here to teach. Succulents and cacti are within reach. It's Little Pots of Love with Mamacheech.
Hello, plant people! Mamacheech here again. Here at Little Pots of Love, we are focusing mainly on cacti and succulents and how to take care of them and keep them happy. Today, I want to talk to you about overwatering and underwatering because you're one of those. Trust me, I bet you most of you are overwaterers. We love to water plants and tend to them, but then that kills them.
The biggest killer of plants is overwatering. Most people don't check to see if the plant needs water. They look at the top and they feel it, and the top is dry, but you have no idea what's going on way down by the roots. There are two different methods I've used to check to see if my plants need water. Before I got a moisture meter, I used to use the chopstick method. You take a dry chopstick and put it all the way down as far as you can go into your pot, and when you pull it out, if the dirt doesn't stick to the chopstick, that means it's dry. If it sticks a little bit to the tip or a little bit above the tip, it shows you that there is some water down at the bottom, but you still may need to water. The moisture meter, there's a gauge. Mine goes from 0 to 10. You'll want to water it to where it's at least moist and going into the wet range.
And I use filtered water. Plants don't take to tap water too well. So I use filtered water. Rainwater is even better. We'll go into how I collect my rainwater at another time, but right now I use filtered water. I have a container. I like to bottom water. Now, why do I bottom water? If you water from the top, that compacts the dirt over time as it settles. Then the plants do not get enough oxygen and they could start to suffocate and they don't thrive. If you water from the bottom, the water comes up through the roots and they take what they want. The top stays dry, and that's good to keep it dry because bugs are attracted to moisture. If you have wet tops on your plants, you're going to see little bugs flying around, and that's okay. If that happens, just know that's one of the reasons why, if you water from the top. I water several at a time, and I let them take their time getting water. But first, I check to see if they need water. I take my meter. I check 3 areas. So I'm checking here all the way down, dry, and this one. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is dry. What I will do now is put enough water in it so the plant can soak up the water, and then I will wait and check it with the meter. Also, you can sometimes tell once you get experienced at watering.
In the comments below, put the number 1 if you are a beginner, the number 2 if you are an intermediate, and number 3 if you consider yourself advanced.
If your plant feels light, usually needs water, but I always use my meter because some plants feel light and they're still moist down at the bottom. Your cacti and succulents, you want to make sure they're really dry before you water them. You don't want to keep them moist. That could cause root rot.
Because cacti can store a lot of water in their thick-walled stems, and succulents store water in their leaves, it's very important that you let your plants dry out thoroughly in between waterings.
So this one feels pretty light. As we saw, this confirmed it. As it starts to drink water, it'll get heavier. And that lets me know, okay, it's taking in water. It's been a few minutes. Let's check with the meter. See what's happening here. It's moving. We're getting some action here. It's still in the low end. I like to get them towards the blue. And while I'm waiting, I take a skewer and I fluff up the dirt so oxygen can get in. Because I bottom water, this is very loose. Now I will put another one in. Let's check this little guy out. Another dry one. I check a couple spots and I can hear the crunch. I can tell this baby's parched. Ooh! I squeeze it too. That way I get the dirt moving around, better circulation. Okay. Now I'm going to put this guy in there. I repurpose those clamshell salad things because then I can put a lot more plants in because I have over 200 plants to water. So I have these all over when I water. I fill them with water about this high. And then I start watering my plants like this and I check on them. I also repurpose these. Any containers will work that you have around the house. These are from mushrooms. Sometimes plants take like 10 minutes to soak up water from the bottom. And that's okay. They need to be really watered well. And then you let the cacti and succulents dry out in between watering. I take the time to inspect the plants with my magnifying glass to see if there's any bugs. Lots of times if there's little gnats, they'll fly out when you ruffle up the dirt a little. And they're harmless, don't have to worry about them. The bugs you have to worry about are the mealy bugs, the aphids, the spider mites. We're going to be doing a video on that. Now let's say you're in a hurry. You're bottom watering, but you got to go somewhere. You're on a schedule, and this baby just isn't drinking fast enough. We're going to top water. Okay, so I'm going to get my water, my filtered water. I already fluffed it up, so I know it's going to be able to take water. Watch how the water is pooling at the top, but it is draining. See the water draining out? This is good. I know I have good drainage in this. But I'm also going to fluff it while it's draining. I want to make sure that water is getting down there. And you want to water all around the plant because the roots are all around. So you don't want half of it watered. So I'll water that. Let it drain. Now I will do a reading. Voila! That's what we want to see. Let's talk about plants that do not have any drainage. Here's one of my little favorite creations. Little babies. This has no drainage. I don't want to water with regular water because it has too many minerals in it. When you water pots that have drainage in them, the minerals can seep out, which is good. But in something that has no drainage, it will build up. So that's why I use distilled water. This little guy here is wonderful because I don't have to tip it. You can just hold it straight and just water where it's needed. Now I know this one is dry because it's very shallow and I can feel the lightness of it. I just go by the weight. So I'm going to water this guy. And this will evaporate quicker because it's a clay pot. If it's plastic, the water doesn't evaporate as much. So that's why in a clay pot, I'm okay. I feel confident watering this with distilled water from here. And it gets a little heavier, and it's fine. So that guy is done. And I do check on those more often because they're, like I said, they're shallow. The deeper ones can keep moist longer. I want to introduce you to my newest plant pail. Woohoo! This plant pail does not have a name. So I would like you to help me out. And in the comments below, write down a name that you think I should call this plant pail. I will let you know in my next video what the name is of this plant pail.
That was easy.